Hey guys, you're watching Just Hoop Talk podcast on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and to our podcast on all streaming platforms. And welcome to Just Hoop Talk. It's your host, Justin Influencer on social media. Make sure you subscribe to all of our channels, Just Hoop Talk. And I'm with...
Good Thompson.
Hey.
Good Thompson. Will Thompson, actually. But,
Will Thompson, good. Justin Henry.
Good is not my first name, contrary to what a lot of people think.
Dude, that's a good name, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Good.
Good. Anyway, we got a good talk today, too.
Yeah.
We're talking Eastern Conference standings, man.
Yes, sir.
And, there's not a whole lot of noise that was made in the Eastern Conference last year. I think you had your top teams, the kind of your solid, Milwaukee and Sixers and the Celtics at the time and Toronto. Like, you kind of knew who was going to be there, and might be a little bit of the same this year. Yeah. Just kind of knowing who's already going to be there, who's not,
I think the biggest addition was probably Jimmy Butler to the East, right?
Yeah.
The biggest addition was Jimmy Butler, and probably the biggest thing that happened was Kawhi left.
Kawhi leaving definitely is like the storyline, and because Jimmy was on he's on Sixers last year, and it's kind of like it bounced it a little bit. Yeah. But I think that the players that left to the East or left from the, I think that Kawhi leaving kind of left this a little bit more open than people think outside of Milwaukee. Yeah. So I think one thing I want to do, just because the East doesn't have the same dynamic. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of duos that showed up. There wasn't a whole lot of serious game changers outside of Kevin Durant coming to the East.
True, that's true.
But he's obviously out for the year.
We won't see a lot of him this year, yeah.
Right. So I think what would be kind of cool with the East is maybe let's just go top to bottom. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about who we think the number 1 seed, the 2 seed, and just really iron out what this playoff picture and maybe some of those fighting teams look like. And we could talk about the bottom of the bottom if we want, but let's see.
It's pretty rough when you get to the bottom of the East, man.
Let's start there. Let's start from the bottom up, because then I think we kind of know who's going to be at the top. So let's start from the bottom up.
All right.
Who you got? Who you think's the worst team
at the
worst
rock
team?
Bottom right now is the Hornets.
Hornets, man. Why?
I think they got rid of the one shining hope that they had.
Yeah.
And I don't know I don't even know who they drafted, but I know that they were kind of middle of the pack in the East, so they didn't get a great draft pick. Yeah. They have, what's his name? I think it's Miles Bridges.
He's nice.
A young player who can play, but he's not a franchise-changing type of player. I just don't see any hope for them anytime soon.
Yeah, they added Scary Terry. Terry Rozier. And it's your career backup. And we're going to get to see, they overpaid for him. Right. And we're going to get to see what he looks like in that offense and kind of leading a team. Right. And I think it's one of those things, you heard Kyrie talk about it last year. He's like, you don't find out what it's like to be the leader until you're forced to be the leader.
It's a different beast, man.
Scary Terry got what he wanted, so we're going to see how they play out. But I definitely agree. I think they're going to be one of those bottom-tier teams. I think the rock bottom-tier team is going through a youth movement right now and doesn't know how to respond to LeBron leaving. That's the Cavs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. The Cavs, dude, it's like they have Kevin Love there. Right. And, I kind of like their little guards. They got Sexton there now. Yeah. So we're going to see, but not too much exciting going on there.
Not much at all. I think the bottom is just kind of the bottom in the East, So
it really isn't. You kind of have some of those other teams who were there, and you just don't really know what to expect from those bottom teams who have kind of been there. Like last year, we had the Bulls, the Hawks, the Wizards. I think they're. I don't know. Do you see any of those teams really taking that next step, or does any of them excite you at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think,
can't even fake it, huh?
No. The Bulls, I like the young kid from Duke.
Oh, Cody White.
No, he's from North Carolina. The kid last year. I want to say his last name is Carter.
Oh, yeah, Wendell Carter.
Wendell Carter,
yeah.
I like him. Yeah. He plays hard, but
nobody's paying attention to the Bulls.
Yeah, no, I think the East is really top heavy.
I think even the thing is the Bulls. I want to take another step on the Bulls because if they put it all together, eventually I think they can be there with that core though, because they got Zach LaVine, they got Otto Porter, Mark Aiken, they have a good core there.
True,
I just don't see it translating it all this year to wins. Yeah. So
you're right. I forgot about what's the foreign kid's name?
Mark Aiken?
It's something like that.
Yeah, Mark Kankinen or whatever. Yeah. I don't even know how to say it.
I forgot about him. Yeah, that's my bad. I forgot about him.
And then like the Wizards, I mean, they got Bill. He just got paid too, but like John Wall's out for the year. Yeah. And, the Hawks, man. I don't know. The Hawks, though.
Yeah, they're interesting.
Trae Young, you think they take the next step?
I really like Trae Young. I saw the last game I watched them play. They played against the Knicks, and I saw what's his the point guard from the Knicks?
You talking about
the French guy?
French guy. Oh, Frank Nicotine.
Something like that. Yeah, Frank something. Just absolutely locked Trae Young up. And he just has a lot of size and a lot of length. Yeah. And that gave Trae Young a lot of problems. I was really high on Trae Young until I saw that. And I was like,
got locked up.
Yeah, he looks like he kind of got exposed a little bit there. Just being super undersized. Mm-hmm. Was kind of getting bullied a little bit. He's not strong at all. Yeah. So I think Trae Young still has a lot further to go than I thought, and I just don't see him leading a team.
And they're just really young too. I think obviously they got the oldest player in the league, Vince Carter, too. But you added Cam Reddish to the team, and then I think they added Jabari Parker too.
I saw him.
You never know what's gonna go on with that team. I think it's exciting, but like we said about the Bulls, same thing. Couple years down the line, and the Knicks, I feel like they just kind of continue to patch things together.
Yeah, they just got a bunch of random pieces, man. It doesn't. I don't really see it making any kind of sense.
I can't get what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't think they have a plan. That's the scary thing about them.
I think their plan was to get KD, and they missed.
Right,
they got duped.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
They went all out for KD, and then they ended up with Julius Randle and Taj Gibson, and just players that don't really translate to wins.
Random pieces that. If you take those pieces and you put them on good teams, they look great. Like a Marcus Morris or Markieff Morris. I don't know which brother it is, but
I think Markieff's on the Knicks. He's the one that duped the Spurs.
But I think those guys on a good team look really good, but them on a bad team, they don't stand out much.
And it's just I think that they all. It's funny because Kevin Durant, talking about him, and he's like, dude, nobody's checking for the Knicks, and it's crazy to see a storied franchise like the Knicks really go through that, where the young players don't respect you as a team, and instead look at you as like, hey, we're gonna go play at the Garden and get the bag.
Yeah.
Like all they're looking for is like, dude, the Knicks are paying for mid-tier talent. I'm going there to get the bag, and that's it.
Yeah. I think it was interesting you sent that graphic to me the other day where the Knicks were like top 5 coveted tickets in the NBA, and they haven't invested anything in their team. So it's kind of like they're being rewarded for not doing anything. So
really,
why is Dolan super motivated to do anything other than just keep bringing mid-level talent? Yeah, because it's working. He's selling tickets. The building's sold out always. I bought tickets to the Knicks. I'm going to New York. I got tickets to the Knicks game. Right. Like they duped me into buying tickets.
Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball, and it has so much respect. But it's like I think that it is losing some of its essence as far as being in the basketball community.
At some point, that's going to wear off, right?
Yeah,
because you keep seeing them be losers. Like, how do you get rid of that?
Yeah,
that stench.
And you see these other franchises really taking an effort to like make their teams better, whether they have the youth movement. Or even a team like the Pistons, how they're kind of bringing in like those vets and they're going after it. They got Drummond, great on the rebounds, you know what I mean? And then they brought in Blake Griffin, who's been, I think that was a good pick for them. Right. A nice little duo. And even signing a player like Derrick Rose. Right. You saw him kind of make that comeback.
You see them trying. Like, at least they're like, hey, we're not going to lose this year, Yeah. They're not just throwing in the towel and saying, hey, we're terrible. They're looking at, they have enough pieces to win 40 to, maybe 50 games in the East.
You think they're a playoff team?
I just don't think those guys can last, man. I think they're all injury prone.
It's true.
Except for Drummond, but Derrick Rose and then Blake Griffin, like those guys can't stay healthy, man. Yeah. But if they were to stay healthy,
that's why they made playoffs last year.
Yeah, I think they're really
Blake stayed healthy.
Team. Yeah, but I just
And I think you got those newcomers too. Like when you start talking about the Heat. Talking about Jimmy Butler going to the Heat, man. That team is exciting. What are your thoughts on the Heat?
I like the Heat. I like Hero.
Man, I think Hero, man, he brings a different element to the game.
I think Spoelstra is a super underrated coach too. Yeah. Like you look at the rosters that he's had over the years, like no one really stands out on those Heat teams. Like you could say Hassan Whiteside, but what has Hassan Whiteside done outside of Miami? Yeah. Like you look at a guy who just got put into a system that fits him well. Yep. And I don't know, man. Spoelstra is super underrated. Obviously, he's had his job for a long time because he's doing a great job with not a ton of talent, and they're always in the playoff mix, if not in the playoffs.
And it was looked at as like the only reason Spoelstra's a good coach is the David Blatt theory. Like he's only a good coach because he has LeBron and Dwayne Wade. But it's like you see what he's done, and those teams are always competitive. Yeah, always. Even if they don't win, he wins without talent. They haven't had a Jimmy Butler on the team, Tyler Hero, who they have on the team now. Yeah. Like he's been winning with Justice Winslow, Josh Richardson, and a lot of, and like you said, Hassan Whiteside, who's really just getting the most out of, you know. Yeah. Still playing with like Udonis Haslem on the team, so
it's wild.
And I don't know. I think that you think they get in.
I have them. I think I have them just outside of the playoffs. No, I have them up high.
Yeah. Okay, well we'll talk about the actual playoff picture. Yeah. I think they're sneaky. To me, I think they drafted well. And I don't know. I think we see them playing Bam. I love Bam.
Yeah, Bam.
Yeah, I think he's a special player
he's a
too.
Go-getter for sure.
You know. What are your thoughts on like the Nets? The Nets, bro. For me,
the Nets. I like the Nets. I like the Nets last year because they had no star power whatsoever.
Kind of like the Eastern version of the Clippers.
Yeah. They were just a young, scrappy team, and I think they added a little bit of star power.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna go a long way for them.
Yeah.
I like Kyrie. I like Kyrie in more underdog, less pressure situations. I think there was a lot of pressure on him in Boston to make that team a championship team. And I don't know if he's necessarily that dude. But I think putting him in a position where they're like, oh, you don't have KD this year. Yep. The pressure's kind of off of him. Just going to let him go out there and do his thing. And I think they're going to get some wins because of that.
Yeah. You see those young players they're building around, too. You got, like, LeVert, he's out there doing work. And even, like, dead shooter like Joe Harris, kind of making a name for himself last year in the three-point contest. But you pair those pieces around, you get a Kyrie in there. You get a Kevin Durant next year. But then also, like, DeAndre Jordan, too. Yeah. A veteran presence who's been there. He's kind of takes that young team, the same thing we talked about in our other podcast with the Clippers. It's like you kind of take that young team and turn them into more of a contender. Right. I'm not sure he put it all together this year, just because without KD, I don't think that team runs the same. But I think that they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a podcast? We're also recording this. Was that a timer on the camera?
That was our timer.
Should we take like an extra 20 seconds to get started back up, or you think keep going?
You want to record more?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I don't know if the battery died or what
the battery, or is that just a thing?
Oh, it just timed out, I guess.
I'll cut that part.
Minutes?
I'll cut that part.
Yeah.
It must be.
What time is it?
Let's finish this up real quick. Let me go grab this dude. Man, I want to keep. Let's just finish.
Who is it?
Tyson.
Oh yeah. Let's just knock it out.
Let's knock it out real quick. Yeah. He'll be all right playing it outside. Yeah. All right. So ready? Man, so I think even like with, those teams, obviously that's kind of like the bottom tier. We're starting to get into that top half of the Eastern Conference now. Yeah. And you look at some of those teams that were in the playoffs, kind of sitting at some of those last seeds. What do you think about the Magic?
I like the Magic.
Orlando Magic?
I like the Magic. I think they got a solid core. They're not they don't have any superstars. They're kind of a well-rounded team. They have a little bit of everything. I think in the East that's going to go a long way for them. Yeah. They need someone to step up and make that next step, like an Aaron Gordon or what's his Vucevic, yeah. They need someone to make that kind of next step up into like maybe not necessarily a superstar, but someone that they can rely on every night.
Man, I think that Vucevic is that star, man. He's like I think he's there, and he's getting a little bit older now. But when you pair him up with like a Fournier, and you get there and Gordon, and he's also teaching those young guys too, like Mo Bamba. Yeah, he's in there too, making plays, and so I think he's starting to probably take that leadership role on whereas before he was on a young team where they weren't all the way there, and now he's like that vet on the team, And what do you think about Bolts, man? They brought him on, and they said he's getting his confidence back.
I don't know for that guy, man. I liked him coming out of college.
I want to see him win, man.
Yeah, exactly. I thought he was drafted way too high. Like, I don't know why he was. He was drafted so high, but I'm rooting for that guy. I want to see him look like he's having fun on the court.
That's the thing,
which is the main thing. Like, his shot still looked a little weird, but like it looked like he was having fun out there. Like, you see the clips of him having fun with his teammates. I think that's the main thing for him. Is
especially as a young player, still 20, 21 years old.
He looked miserable on the court, And so as long as he's out there having fun, doing his thing, like I like his feel for the game.
Yeah.
Like I never really liked his shot. I mostly liked his feel for the game. He sees passing lanes really well.
Yep.
He drives really well. He slashes really well. So I think as long as he's happy and confident, we're gonna see some cool things from him this year.
Yeah, you get that if you get that number one pick element out of him, just even a portion of that, it takes them to that next tier, kind of where those top four are really sitting right now. You know, and I think one of those teams that we could touch on is the Celtics. Yeah. You know, and they kind of had a youth movement, some things that went on with them, like they lost Kyrie and they lost Al Horford. Like, where do you see the Celtics are?
I like the Celtics. I see them moving up. I think, I think they're freeing up their young guys to take more of a leadership role.
Less is more type mentality.
Yeah, I think the Kyrie deal was a bad deal for them. I feel like Jason Tatum is going to take a big leap this year. Yeah, I'm excited to see him, and then Jaylen Brown as well, and Gordon Hayward. I like those guys, and I like what they do because they're versatile. They're super versatile. Right. They can play multiple positions. They can all defend. They can all shoot a little bit. Yeah. Like, I think I'm looking forward to them having a great year.
Yeah. Brad Stevens runs that team like a college team. Yeah. You know, exactly, and so it doesn't really matter who's there. And sometimes, I think losing superstar power, it makes the other players want to play their role more. You know, when you add a Kemba Walker, when you add Enes Kanter, like you start to add some of those veteran pieces who maybe have not had that level of success in their career, but can take that next level. Like Kemba, I want to see how he does. You know, he kind of plays that little IT role. Yeah. I don't know. He's not a huge defender, but as we found out in Brad Stevens' offense, defense, and system, they don't really need him to be a defender. They need the supporting pieces. Yeah, absolutely. Tatum's, the Jaylen Browns. Yeah, I think that Jaylen Brown in the contract year has a lot to prove.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think we're going to see a big year from him.
Me too.
Sure. I'm looking forward to him taking that next step. Yeah. Into someone who's going to make a lot of money in the league, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. I like what they're doing. I just don't see them as like really one of the top three teams. I kind of think the same way about like the Raptors.
Yeah, I see them falling off.
You know, I think that the Raptors are one of those mid teams. Like Kawhi obviously boosted what they'd had. Yeah. Obviously, Kawhi was the reason that they won the championship last year. But is losing him enough to drop them to like out of the playoffs? I don't think so. Yeah, I think Siakam's ready.
Yeah. I feel like they're a solid team. I'm blanking on their point guard.
Kyle Lowry,
I still like Kyle Lowry. I still like their pieces.
Still like Gasol and Ibaka. You know, they still have those core pieces. And I don't know. I just think that they're a good team, but they were great because of Kawhi. Right. And I don't think that they measure up with some of.
I see them kind of middle of the pack now in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the Raptors, they're about a 4 or 5 seed, somewhere in that range. Comfortably put them in there. But, I mean, obviously, the two of the top three, you mentioned the Celtics as one of your favorites. Yeah. I think that they're probably the 3 out of the top 3. Yeah. I know you probably have them a little bit higher. Yeah. But I think the top 2 teams that we got to talk about outside of the Celtics are the Bucks and the Sixers.
Yeah. So, I think before we get into that, I like the Pacers.
Oh, I like the Pacers. Yeah, I forgot about them.
I know, they're so easy to forget.
They're like the Spurs of the East, exactly. Man. Like, they're always there.
They're super easy to
no matter who they have.
Yeah.
What do you think about them without Depot, though?
Yeah.
And they lost Bogdan, too?
Like, I don't know when he comes back.
Or Bogan?
Yeah, but I like them. I like their team. I like the way they're coached. I think they're just a tough team, man.
Yeah, and I think they can win without them, too, in the East. They lost. They got Brogdon from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You know, so they added him, and Miles Turner is always going to be like there. Yeah. And then I'm interested. Like, I think Sabonis is ready.
He needs to make that next step. If he can make that next step, like, they're really good. And then when they get Oladipo back, like, I'm looking at them being a team that's going to make some noise. I think if they had Oladipo last year, I think things would have been different in the East, honestly.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought they were that good, man. Like, and they started to kind of come together towards the end of the season, too. Like, I don't know. I'm excited for that team to get to full strength.
They kind of play the game the right way.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They do what they're supposed to. They all do their job. You know, They all have their roles.
Yeah.
And it's not really star power focused. It's almost like similar setup as the Celtics, where it's not really star power focused, but they all got to make plays. You know, and even the teams like that have the star power. You know, I think we're gonna get into these top top 2.
The big dogs.
You know, the big dogs, the Bucks and the Sixers. Those are the hot teams. Those are the picks. Everybody has them either going to the championship. Who do you like better out of them, the Bucks or the Sixers?
I like the Sixers right now.
Really?
Yeah, I really like the Sixers.
Where do you got them? You got them?
I got them number one.
Number one?
I got them number one. I think the development of Ben Simmons is going to be big for them. I look at Embiid getting better, and I love Al Horford.
Yeah,
I love that pickup for them.
So do I. Grimy little vet player, you know?
And like low key, he can shoot, man. Like he really can shoot. He can stress the defense.
Yep.
I really like that for them.
And I think it's good because they got those other players too. Like Tobias Harris isn't necessarily a superstar.
Right.
I think he's an all-star caliber player, probably a fringe all-star.
Yeah.
But he can play his role, you know. And then you also add in they made that trade with Jimmy Butler. They got Josh Richardson.
Yeah.
Another just defensive grimy player. And they also got the rookie Thibault. Have you seen him? He's like college defender, bro.
Yeah,
straight up defender. And I think having those defensive pieces alongside of a Ben Simmons and Embiid, they are going to be a tough team, dude.
I felt like Jimmy Butler kind of held back the development of their young guys.
Yeah.
Last year, I watched them when they were here, just right down here. You can't, obviously, you guys can't see where I'm pointing. But I'm pointing at the Golden One Center.
Right across the
right across the street. I watched Jimmy Butler completely take over the game in the fourth quarter. And which he can do, and that's his role. That's what he's supposed to do. But Ben Simmons kind of went away, and he kind of goes and hides away at the end of the games, and so did Embiid at times, and they just let Jimmy do his thing. And I think this year you're going to see those dudes kind of step up and start to take that role.
But can he? So two things. Right. One, I think we're going to get to see a full season of Embiid.
Yeah.
We haven't got to see that because he had those breaks. He always had to have the time off.
Yeah.
But in the fourth quarter, when they have the ball, Ben Simmons is not going to be able to do that. He can't take the shot. He doesn't have the confidence. And I think that's what separates them from Milwaukee is that Ben Simmons does not. I don't think it's anywhere close. Yeah. He doesn't have the shot that you need to have because what's going to happen in the playoffs when you play a good team a good defensive team like the Celtics, play a good defensive team like the Pacers, they're just going to sag off.
Yeah. And
dare him to beat him.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
I think that it has to go through Embiid. But I think Ben Simmons has to be more willing to attack.
He has to.
Because I feel like he can get to the basket at almost any time. Like a Giannis. You can't stop him from doing what he wants to do. He just has to be more aggressive. And I think the biggest thing for him is his mid-range game. Yeah. Being able to stop and pull up. And you see that with Giannis being able to stop and not get all the way to the basket and pull up and get easy buckets. I don't know. That's where I see him developing, and then I think Embiid being able to get to the line at the end of games is going to be huge for them too. Yeah. But I just see them being able to be more free to develop that this year, and I think by the time it's all said and done, they're going to be a problem.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Because the thing is, I think they have the youth movement, but Milwaukee's already there. Yeah, they've been there, experienced. They were I know the Sixers were one shot away, obviously, from being where Milwaukee's. Yeah, but I think Milwaukee is just that team that they've already kind of got beat down already. Yeah. They've added the veterans. They got the Bledsoes, the Brook Lopez's, but Giannis, coming off an MVP season, he wants a ship. Yeah. He wants a championship. They're my number one team. And I think they won 60 games last year. Yeah. But I just don't see any drop-off from them. Even losing Brogdon, I can't see any way that they're not the number one seed, just personally.
I think the thing that I saw at the end of the Raptors-Bucks series, the last games when the Raptors kind of took over, was the Raptors kind of just sagging off of Giannis. I don't know if he developed his shot enough to where he can counter that, but I think maybe the Raptors kind of exposed a little bit of how to stop the Bucks. Yep. Because their offense runs through Giannis. Yeah. And I think they might have exposed a little bit of something because they beat him 3 games in a row? Yep. Yeah. Straight up. Made him look bad, man. Yeah. Made him look really bad. So my last view of them was oh man, they got work to do. Not work,
Yeah, that's the end. I guess the same things that we see in both of those two teams is probably why the West is stronger. Is because I think that they both have that youth ready to take the next step, but don't have that consistent superstar with the shot that can make the play when it needs to. We'll see. We'll see how this Eastern Conference plays out.
Yeah, you're right. They are really similar teams, man.
They are.
They're one jump shot or mid-range game away from being really great teams or really great players, but they're just not quite there. And they might be this year.
Yeah, let's see who put the work in the offseason. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to, especially in this East, man, because it's not like there's – you know who the teams are going to be.
Yep.
And I don't think there's really any question about that. It's just a matter of who steps up at the right time, kind of like Toronto did last year. Right time, right place, made the right plays. And I don't know. We'll see.
So, I'm excited, though. I'm excited to see it.
All right, man. Well, Eastern Conference wrapped up. We got Western Conference on the last one. So if you missed it, check out the Western Conference. Follow JustHoopTalk on all social media platforms. Video will be up on YouTube at some point. And then also make sure to follow Good Thompson, Just Influencer on all social media platforms. And one thing we want to hear, what do you guys want to hear about during the season? We have some ideas of new types of content that we want to put out. Maybe giving you access to players, people that are important in sports. So let us know your feedback. If you have anything that you want to hear, let's hear it.
Yes. Let's do it, man.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
We're out.
For more NBA, college, and hoops coverage, be sure to subscribe to Just Hoop Talk podcast on YouTube and all streaming platforms.